Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the exact steps which I'm using or I'm doing on how to achieve a perfect base or a perfect face makeup that will complement your eyes and that will last a long time. I decided to do this video separately just so that you guys can go back to it every time you guys feel like you want to learn more. And in the same time, I decided that I don't want to make my makeup tutorials very boring. You know, I'm usually not changing the way of doing my face makeup unless there's maybe a new product into the market or maybe there's a new famous technique that's coming up. So unless these are happening, I'm never ever changing the way that I'm applying my foundation, my contouring or bronzing. So I decided that it's better for me and for you guys to not have to watch the whole video just so you can reach that eye makeup that you want to learn. So I created this video especially for you, and in the same video I'm gonna be sharing with you how do I do my eyebrows. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section below if you need me to create more or anything what you would like me to create. And that being said, let's go to the makeup. Alright, so as you probably know, I never skip skincare. It doesn't matter the amount of makeup that I'm putting on my face, I never skip these steps which are crucial for my skin and for my makeup application, which are, first of all, a gentle exfoliation if you can, or you can just wash your face if you think that your skin is good enough. Mine is quite, tricky sometimes. And so I'm doing like a gentle exfoliation or a mask depending on the time. Next, of course, after washing my face, I always apply a toner on my skin. After the toner, I'm going in with a face serum. That could be vitamin C or hyaluronic acid or any serum that you want to use. Followed by eye cream. I never ever skip eye cream because I feel like without it, my under eyes area will be creasing and the concealer will not settle properly. Therefore, I'm always applying eye cream. It doesn't matter the situation, let's say. Then the next step will be, of course, moisturizer. You can use whatever moisturizer you like. It's totally up to you and up to your skin type, because I can't really tell you what exactly you guys should be wearing because everyone has different skin texture, everyone has different skin needs. So therefore, it's up to you which products you want to use. Last step is a SPF. I just want to be honest with you guys, and I know this might be bad. I'm not applying the SPF all the time, only when I'm going outside. For me, being indoors and filming, I don't really think that it's needed, but if you guys want to, you can always feel free to apply. That being said, this is all what I'm doing with my face prep, with my skin prep, and then once I get all this product layered into my skin, I'm going to start with a primer. I've applied a little bit on the back of my hand. Normally I like to apply the primers directly with my fingers unless they have some sort of shimmer or some tint inside. So this one is pretty clear once you apply it. I like to concentrate on the center of my face and then drag it towards the end. I'm always using hydration type of primers. Now it's up to you what your skin needs also and what you like to use. So either I'm applying a primer like this one, or I'm applying a shimmery foundation base or highlighter directly. This time I'm gonna be applying the primer and then I'm gonna be going in with the shimmery one just so for you to see how it looks and how it settles on my skin. Okay, so once I'm done with applying the primer, I'm just giving it about 1 minute, and I'm checking it from time to time to see if it becomes tacky. Once it becomes tacky, then it's the perfect time to go with the next product, because if you apply the next product right away, the formula will mix with each other, and you might not get the benefit from each of them or the effect that you're looking for. So in my case, I'm just gonna wait a little bit until I feel like my skin is tacky enough. And as I told you, the next product that I'm going in, and I'm using it all the time, is a liquid highlighter or liquid shimmer base. I like to use this one in particular, and I'm always focusing on the sides of my face. So I'm applying this amount, and then with a duo fiber stippling brush, you just blend it. I'm just doing it in a circular motions and blending it around my face, and that will give me a really nice and dewy finish, which will look really nice underneath foundation. Maybe I mentioned it before, but I'm sometimes applying this base only by itself, and then I'm just continuing with a concealer, whatever I want to cancel the blemishes. But that will be on every time I'm doing like very natural daily makeup. So I'm just blending it. I'm not pushing it on the skin because that will move all the products that we applied. I'm just gently buffing it. That's why I like to use this type of brush, because it's very, very soft. So it just helps on spreading the product properly, but in the same time it's not harsh on the skin or harsh on the product that you apply. I usually prefer to use a liquid foundation because I'm not really looking to have a full coverage or like a heavy foundation. So I always prefer to go with liquid ones and very natural ones, because I can always go back with concealer to the areas that I really need. I don't want to make my skin unnecessarily full of product, because that will just emphasize all my fine lines and all my blemishes. Alright, so I've applied 1.5 pump, I would say, of product. And what I like to do, I'm not saying this is like the best way or the correct way, I'm just saying this is what works for me the best to ensure I'm not applying a lot of product. Since this foundation is very liquid, if you will start applying it directly with the brush will absorb all the product, so you will waste the product instead of having it on your skin. And in the same time, if you apply it this way, you will not apply too much on your skin because you can control it. So I'm just taking it with my finger and kind of stamp it, starting from the center of my face. Maybe it looks like I have a lot of product, but in fact it's very little. Just because I'm stamping it, it's kind of spreading on top of my skin. So therefore it looks like it gives me the perfect amount of foundation that I need. So that being said, I'm just gonna keep this just in case I need to do some correction or I need to apply it on my neck. Now, to blend out my foundation, I'm always using a stippling brush, duo fiber brush, which means it's synthetic, so it won't absorb a lot of liquid products. Because if I will use a brush with natural hairs, that will absorb a lot of the cream product inside, and not only it will damage the brush, but it will also gather a lot of bacteria over there. It doesn't matter how much you're trying to wash it, it's because it's a natural hair, so it's automatically attracts all the bad stuff. So I don't want to do this for my skin and for my brushes, therefore I'm using this stippling brush. So with this stippling brush, I just like to gently tap on my skin, tap the foundation on my skin. And that will give me enough coverage. If I feel like I've applied more, I can just slightly swipe it, not pressing too much, because as I told you before, I don't like to move the products. So I'm just tap, 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 tap on my skin. I feel like it's giving me enough coverage, I would say. And as I can see so far, it's quite matching to my neck, so I don't need to go down there. However, I'm still blending it slightly towards my neck, just to make sure there's no harsh lines. Alright, so I feel like the foundation is nicely done. Next, I'm going in with a concealer. Throughout the years, I didn't really change my concealer. However, I'm pretty sure there's a lot in the market nowadays. I might try it one day, but I always like to stick with the product that work for me best. So I'm just putting this concealer, tapping it, and usually with one layer or one application, because I feel like it's enough. When I'm doing a full makeup, I'm applying a little bit more. When I'm doing a natural makeup, I'm usually just applying one line in here and one line in there, and I'm just blending it. But this time, because I want to do a nice eye makeup afterwards in my next video, I'm gonna apply a little bit more, and I'm applying a bit on my eyelids. That will work as an eyeshadow base. Now to blend the concealer, I'm using an angled synthetic brush. I'm sometimes using a beauty blender as well. Now it's not clean, so I decided to go with a brush. I'm just dabbing the concealer because I want to get some extra coverage. So therefore, just dabbing it. And I'm lifting it upwards. I'm applying it or spreading it towards the temples of my eyes. This will just give me a more lifted effect of my eyes. I'm doing the same on the other side. Tap, tap, tap. And once you're concealing all the areas that you want to conceal and you already finished your base, then you know what exactly you would need to continue. So now that everything is clean, I think I can go with the contour slash bronzer. I don't really like to use like actual contour. Technically speaking, a contour should look a little bit on a cool side, a bit grayish. But I don't really prefer that. It's just, I think it's unnecessary for me. It's really good for camera though. And it's really good for those who really want to change more of their face structure. In my case, I don't really want to change a lot. It's not that I feel that I'm perfect, it's just I prefer to go a bit more natural, if that's the best way to describe it. However, I really love this palette, so I'm gonna just blend these two shades. I'm gonna scoop them out a bit. This one is a bit into the grayish side, and this one is a bit warm, so that's why I like to mix them both. I'm gonna apply them on the back of my hand next to the foundation, and I'm gonna explain you why I still kept the foundation on the back of my hand, because that's the reason why. So I'm gonna mix these two shades, and I'm going to apply it using a flat synthetic brush. I'm just checking where my the middle of my ear is, and then I'm going slightly above it, because every time I blend the contour or bronzer, it tends to go a bit down, so it's already changing the area, and instead of giving me a more lifted effect, it's bringing my face a bit down. So I just want to avoid that, and then I'm just, as you can see, I'm just stamping the product, or like you could just draw some sort of line. It's totally up to you. Obviously, since we're not trying to do a viral reel or TikTok, I'm not gonna draw lines on my face because that will make it harder to blend. That's the bad thing about drawing lines or mapping your face with the contour. So I'm not gonna draw this. I'm just gonna directly start blending it, as you can see. So just tapping, gently tapping the tip of the brush on the contour. It's already blending it really nicely. Don't worry about the lower line because I'm gonna go back to this as well once I'm done with the upper part. And then just gently blending underneath the line as well, like that. And keeping it that way. And now I'm going to go to do the same on the other side. Trying to see myself in the monitor. Hopefully I'll make it symmetrical. So now it might look that it's not blended, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm just gonna continue with the rest of my face. I'm gonna apply a bit on my forehead, on the sides of my forehead. Now going to the nose contour. I don't really like to wear a nose contour, so I'm just going, as you can see, I have a very minimal amount of product, so I'm just swiping it on the sides of my nose just to give me a more bronzed or, you know, shaped nose, because of course when you put the foundation the face starts to look flat, so that's why you can go a bit with a contour. It's not necessarily to really shape that nose unless you like that, but I don't really like it. I find it that I look funny, you know, every time I try to do my nose contour I feel funny. So I'm applying a bit under my nose just to shorten it a bit, if that makes sense. But as you can see, I already got like a pretty cute little nose. So just gently going with the same contour or bronzer under my eyebrow a little bit. I'm gonna apply some extra bronzer right on the jawline, just to kind of make it look a bit less. Well, now, in case you was wondering what am I doing with the extra foundation that's on the back of my hand, that's what I'm using it for. So I'm just taking the extra amount and blend my contour. So I'm going a bit above or on top of the contour just to make it a bit softer. So this is great, for example, let's say if you went too much with the product, if you did in fact those lines all over your face and then you're finding it super hard to blend, so it's good to have some extra amount of foundation on the back of your hand so you can easily correct that. So as you can see, I'm going a bit on top just to kind of blend it and just to give to my skin a bit more of a sun-kissed effect. Let's not forget about jawline. Need to just, the rest of the product I'm just gonna tap. Alright, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply a liquid blush. I'm just taking it on a synthetic brush and I'm starting from outer area, right above the contour. Don't worry if it looks too much, because the moment you'll start fixing your skin with a powder, it will look less already. So I'm just tapping it. And I'm gonna apply a bit more on the apples of my cheeks just to give me a more healthy kind of skin, a more sun-kissed. That makes sense. I think I went a bit crazy under my eye, but it's fine. I'm gonna fix that. And I'm gonna go a bit on the bridge of my nose. Now For the powder, I always like to use a loose, translucent powder because I feel like it's not super heavy on the skin and it's not looking cakey. So I'm just applying it with a powder puff. Firstly, starting with my under eyes. Of course, I'm gonna have to take off the extra product that I have under my eyes in the same time to kind of soften up the creases if there are any. And then I'm taking a little bit of powder on the powder puff, just like so. And I'm kind of doing a bit of baking, let's say. So I'm just looking up and stamping the product under my eyes until the temples, wherever I wanted to lift that eye. So I'm just now going back and forth with the same amount. I'm not adding extra because I don't want it to look super dry and cakey. And then going lower towards the smile lines and around the mouth. And then whatever that's extra on the powder puff, I'm going under the contour and then slightly above. Just slightly, so I can take that stickiness from the blusher. Alright, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a small amount again on the powder puff. That's how much I would use. And just tap it exactly on the bridge of my nose to fix the foundation over there, because usually noses tend to go greasy very fast, especially mine. You can literally fry potatoes on it. So I'm just going on the bridge of my nose and slightly on the sides as well to fix that bronzer or contour that we did earlier. Alright, so that's it with fixing my makeup. Now I'm going to apply a little bit of extra powder bronzer on top of the cream bronzer, just to intensify it slightly bit. As you can see, I'm not even pressing the brush properly, I'm just like swiping up and down. But I'm not always doing that, it just depends on the look that I'm going for. But I'm just showing it to you guys, so then it's up to you if you want to do the same as I did, or you just want to stick to the cream stuff. As you can see, it already looks a bit more deeper. I mean, for camera, it's actually good. Same thing on the sides of my forehead. Just slightly, same like you would dust it off. And of course on the nose, let's just brushing it, especially on the end. Alright, next I'm going to go with a blusher. The same, just to intensify the cream blusher and to fix it, and this way it will last longer time. That's why I haven't applied a lot of powder there. I just tapped in whatever was extra on the powder puff, just because I didn't want to completely fix that contouring and blusher, just so I can go afterwards with a powder blusher and bronzer to make sure it will last a long time and it will be intense. And especially if you're gonna do like a flash photography, that will still show, it will not be washed off. And that's it with the blusher. Last but not least will be a highlighter, because I love to use highlighters. I mean, I don't like to have a super glittery face, so I'm gonna use the powder highlighter with my finger. I'm just gonna exactly in the area between my under eye and the edge of the blusher. So by applying it with my finger, it's giving me a more natural effect and more subtle. Maybe some of you are wondering why, if I did all of this cream contour, cream blusher, why didn't I go with a cream highlighter on top? So I will explain you why. Because anyways, I would have fixed everything with powder, right? So that will make no sense for me to just apply coat on top of coat of product, and that will make my skin more heavy looking. So second of all, I like to achieve this wet skin kind of look. So if I'm applying the liquid highlighter and then I'm going to fix it with a powder highlighter, that will just intensify the powder. It will still look powdery. So that's not my goal in here. I just want to make it look juicy and dewy. And now, just to finalize the highlighted areas, I'm going to apply a liquid highlighter on top, just very little. I don't want to make it super shiny. So of course I'm again applying it with my fingers right above or right on top of the powder one. Just beware, don't put a lot of product on your finger, and don't go on top of it too much, because that will kind of move the powder underneath and it will start looking cakey. So just go very fast, 2-3 dabs, and that's it. I'm doing the same on the other side. Now that I'm done with all the face, I'm just gonna tap the excess of concealer or base and remove the creases also from my eyelids, just to get them ready for eye makeup. And sometimes I'm just tapping it with the same powder puff that I've applied the powder, but I'm not adding powder because it's already quite dry and powdery by itself. So that will just help me to set the concealer just enough, because I still want it to have a good grip with the eyeshadow. Next thing what I like to do in the end of my face makeup is to apply a setting spray that will help you to achieve an even more dewy effect, because it will kind of melt the powders down. Alright, so that's how the skin looks. I think it's really nice and it's really dewy and it still looks natural despite the amount of product that you guys saw me applying. The final result is still very soft in my opinion. Now let's move over with the eyebrows, since many of you guys asked me how do I do my eyebrows. However, I'm trying to keep it very basic because luckily I was born with quite enough hair, I would say, on my eyebrows, so I don't have to do a lot of things to achieve shape. But of course I'm still applying products on it, and I still like to contour them a little bit. I use a few products on my eyebrows and I like to stick to those which I love for ages, so I'm keep on repurchasing them. Now I'm just gonna brush the hairs up and down. It's just until I decide which shape should I go for, or how much can I apply of the product. So I really like to have a bit of arch in here because that's the area where my hair is not really growing, unfortunately. So now that I decided that I will apply it here, I'm just gonna brush the hairs down, and I'm gonna apply a slightly bit. I'm not pressing the pencil very hard because that will give me a very strong color, which afterwards I have to blend a lot to get rid of it. So I'm just kind of like drawing kind of like hair strokes, if that makes sense, but in a very airy style, if I can use this word. Once I'm done creating the arch and just brushing the color into the hairs, so then it wouldn't look like I actually have makeup on them. It's just very, very basic, but in the same time, as you can see, it quite makes a difference between each other. Now I'm gonna apply a bit extra here, just to make it more intense, more sharp, and that's it. Sometimes I go in the inner parts as well. I will show you how I do it. I'm just drawing very thin lines under, very thin, just kind of like imitating the hair strokes. And then with the brush, I'm just brushing up. That's it. Boom. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on my other eyebrow. Alright, now I feel like they're pretty much equal. Remember, your eyebrows shouldn't be twins, they should be sisters, sometimes cousins. up to you. And then of course I always like to set up my eyebrows with a clear brow gel. Even if I'm not applying a pencil, I always like to brush the hairs upwards, just so that it will give me a more fluffy and full eyebrow effect. It just makes it look like I have a lot of hair. So I'm just brushing, especially the inner corners, brushing them upwards, and towards the end I'm quite taming them down because I don't want them to look super aggressive in the same time. But see how it looks like I have a lot of hair, and trust me guys, I don't really have a lot. I have just enough, I would say. Alright, so this is the final result. This is how I do my skin, my complexion, my face makeup, or my base, however you guys prefer to call it. And this is how I do my eyebrows as well for my makeup. I hope all the steps was useful for you, and I hope you learned something from it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, of course, like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and turn on the notifications bell so you can be aware every time I post a new video. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in my next tutorial.